back to the Slumber Party podcast. I am here with the hilarious Cat.
And I'm here with the inexplicable Michelle.
Inexplicable, that's a new one.
I can't think of any words right now.
We should do like an adjective exercise before we start these.
Yeah.
Hello. Anyway, so for the last couple of podcasts, we've talked about a lot of heavy things.
I like deep talks.
No, deep talks are great, but like I felt like we should break up that pattern a little bit, just so you know you can have fun, nice
with glitter.
Oh God, just like a nice little break in between, you know, not like just don't want to be a downer every week. Not that the topic's initially been a downer, just you need that light, uplifting break and all that. So we did a podcast. Oh God, a couple months ago now. Where we talked about dreams and like interpreting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so since that episode, I've been keeping a dream journal of sorts where I will wake up and write down what I remember. And sometimes they're really long because it's been a very extensive dream to remember. Other times it's just a couple sentences. But I know Kat said that she likes to interpret them. So, and
I'm not great.
No, and like that, I'm looking more for your thoughts on them because you're in most of them. Because I dream extensively about the people that I deal with a lot. Kat is one of those people. So I just kind of wanted her to like listen to my tirade of dreams because it used to be when we were in high school, because I have such active dreams, we would meet in the morning because our buses always got there way too early. So we'd all meet in the deflex.
Yeah, the flex area.
Yeah. And I would then regale them with my dream that I had.
I wish this song was out when we were in high school.
I know, it would have been helpful.
Deflex.
But it would have been like a thing the teachers did, and then it would have been cool. But
yeah, you're right.
But I used to regale people with my dreams that I had, and it was like I collected a fair amount of people that would come and just listen to me talk about the stupid things that I dreamed about. So we're kind of recreating that because it's a little bit fun. So I'm gonna pull up my phone. I'm gonna look at my phone a lot. I apologize, but I'm just reading things to Kat. So the first one, which is one I've already sent her, but she was like, "Oh God," when I sent it, was I woke up and I dreamed about shapes and colors. Hold on, I gotta find the thingy now.
Also, Michelle's mom's voice is making an appearance.
Hi. Wow, I wrote a lot of random stuff. Boop. So I get that song stuck in my head sometimes. Oh God, I'm so sorry. So this was the one that I sent you earlier. I was in a void of shapes and colors and softly singing of the alphabet. It was like the hell version of Sesame Street. Let me explain a little bit more than that. So like, you know those cartoons where like people like get into the void and it's just like a white or a black space where they're just floating?
Yeah.
So I was in that with the white background. But it was just like, you would see like shapes come by or like squiggles, like a weird like 90s intro. But you would just hear softly like,
oh no! Oh no!
And it was just like, yeah, like.
Was that it?
Yeah. That was the dream. And then I woke up and was like, what just happened? Like, I didn't, yeah, it was just. Yeah, I didn't like it. No. I didn't know how to feel about it. But I was like, I literally woke up and was just like, did my subconscious just like peace out for the night? Like, or was that like a dream I had like as a baby and it was like, hey, do this again?
Which like, that's pretty common with your dreams too.
Yeah.
I think usually like a vast empty space with no discernible doors, windows, beginning or end. If I remember correctly, is usually symbolic of death. So, well, that's a great start.
Well, it was literally like my brain was like, I didn't want to look around because I didn't want to see that it didn't end. Like my brain was even like, don't look. You cannot fathom what you will see. Basically.
Wow.
Yeah. Like when I say it was like a hellscape, like I was scared.
Yeah.
In this weird, like colorful, like la 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 bright world. The thing is, like, I never even watched Sesame Street as a child, so, yeah.
I'm more concerned that that's the case. Like, you just never watched Sesame Street because it was a pretty banging show.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
I didn't watch a lot of television.
do you remember
in the
what kind of
90s.
colors?
It was a lot of primary and then green, basically.
Hmm.
So no orange or no purple.
Yeah. What kind of shapes?
Geometric shapes. So like triangles, circles, hexagons,
I mean, it
trapezoid.
probably had something to do with relating your like feelings of innocence and childhood, and like the beginning of you, and like death, and like the end of you. I don't know. You have a lot of existential thoughts, so
I do.
I'm not terribly surprised.
I'm that person that texts her in the middle of the night and be like,
mm-hmm.
"How to tell people to wear blankets?" That's a meme.
Well, it depends on the size of the blanket.
Well, I mean, if you just have like a regular sized blanket, and the tall person is like 6'5".
Also, sorry for the clicking sound.
Yeah,
it's
my phone, which is why I'm laying like this. But also, I feel like I'm gonna fall when I do that. So
no fall,
no fall.
Falling bad.
Just in the podcast.
Yeah.
Right, let's go for a longer one. This one is about the apocalypse because that's a lot of my dreams. Okay. There was a bunch of newscasts about this disease that was spreading from the east. That was quickly wiping people out. Like the symptoms didn't show up until like they were pretty much already dying. So like it was like they were fine one day, dead the next. They couldn't really explain what was happening. We were just watching it slowly encroach over to the U.S. Pretty much every airport or shipping thing, like international travel, was no longer a thing. I'm reading through this and giving a synopsis to get to the because some of these are very long. So, so international travel was shut down, but the disease continued to spread. It was kind of like the game Plague, where it just does sometimes.
Yeah.
And I watched. I'll just start reading now. I watched all of my family get sick. They seemed to hang on for a while, and I was hoping because they were a lot in the medical field, their immune systems would help them fight it. But eventually, they passed away. I did not. I lived in my house for about a month, going around and scavenging, living that way, and then I decided that I needed to get away from the city, and I just needed to go somewhere where I could sustain myself once all of like the power and everything went down. So I packed up my car and went to local gas stations. And because everybody died so quickly, there was never a rush or raid for supplies because I literally hadn't seen anybody around. I didn't know if I was one of the few people left alive, so I stocked up on a bunch of things, including gas, food, and water. I found some ammunition and a gun and continued on my way. I decided to go to Orcas Island because I figured there was enough wildlife there that I could sustain myself. I also knew there were farms and hopefully the farm animals were still alive. So I go my way forth there, and I have to take all the backgrounds because all the freeways are shut down because people try to run whenever there's an apocalyptic situation at all, even if it won't do anything. I pass a lot of cars that have a lot of dead people in them, and I stop off to get gas because I don't want to use my gas supply to get more gas, and I'm doing my thing, and animals are around, but you don't really see them anymore. They tend to avoid humans altogether, like we carry the disease with us, and I hear noise. And I get spooked by this because I haven't really heard voices in a very long time, and the world seems very quiet to me. So I turn, I raise my weapon, and this young girl, probably about 16, comes out around the corner, and she has a shotgun pointed at me, and she has a pit bull. I lower my weapon and greet her and ask, like, what are you doing here? Like, ask her about her story, basically. She tells me that her name is Ophelia. I think that's from because I keep singing the song Ophelia at Fiona. That's a story for another day. And she's traveling with her dog. All of her family is dead. She can't get a hold of anybody because the cell phones and towers were still working. Because, like I said, it's only a month in. Things still work for a while. I tell her about my plan, ask her if she wants to come with me. She has the choice to deny or not, and she decides she's wary, but she decides to come with me because it's better to be with somebody than alone. As the madness is kind of sinking in of being alone all the time. She asks if I'm concerned about her dog. I'm not because that's cute. Yeah. So we continue on our way. We get to Anacortes. We go to the ferry terminal, and there's a ferry there that looks like it was unloaded but never loaded back up. Neither of us know how to drive a ferry, so we just go. We pull the car on. We get up there. We're not really worrying about getting the lever up because we don't really care.
Mm.
And we go up to the captain's deck to try and see if we can figure out how to run a ferry, if there's like a manual or whatever. We're up there, we're doing a thing around, we're trying to find some things. We figure out how to get it to start, but we can't get the rotors to run to make it go forward. Also, we have no idea how to pilot or even how to get to Orcas Island based off of the map, based on where we are. Because, tides. I didn't write because, tides, I just said that.
Yeah.
As we're doing this, Ophelia mentions that she sees a boat out on the ocean, and we watch it for a while, and we realize that it is actually moving and not being pushed by the waves. And it comes on board, we're watching, and 6 people get out, and they walk onto the mainland, and they're walking around, they all have weapons, and they're just, like, walking around, and one of the older gentlemen that is there turns and sees that there's now a car on the ferry, points it out, and they start walking over towards the car. We go down to meet them, but we hide. So, I don't know if y'all know what a ferry in Washington looks like, but there's these staircases that go up, and, like, they're made out of metal, so you can completely, like, you can't see people in them. So we basically went down those stairs and we're hiding around the corner from the car, because we wanted to overhear them, basically. But I had to describe it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we're hiding on the stairs doesn't sound the same as, So they can't see us, but we can hear them, we know where they are. And we hear them talking, they're like, oh, there must be people around, we should find them, like, maybe they're on the ferry, and we come around the corner, we raise our weapons, because they haven't raised theirs, and we ask them, like, who are you, what are you doing, or, like, whatever kind of a thing. And they greet us, they tell us that they're living on the island with other survivors that they found, and I'm looking at them, and I notice that all of them are left-handed. And I point that out, I'm like, every one of you is left-handed, and they look at me like I'm an idiot, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what? They're like, did you not hear the radio announcement from the WHO? The WHO is the World Health Organization. Right before they went down, they realized that there was a disease that was attacking the right-handed genome part of the gene. So it didn't matter about anything we did, it was going to attack the gene and kill people.
Yeah.
So basically all the right-handed people were wiped out, and only 10% of the population was left as left-handed. And I woke up.
That just sounds like a great movie.
It would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But, like... yeah. I mean, like, after you figure it out, there's like, oh, okay. Because it's not like there's anything going to come back at you. It's mostly trying to figure out how to live in a world where there's only 10% of the population left.
Yeah. It would be like a cool short film.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You could do that. But not in the concept that I've set up, because there's no way to ever clear the Anacortes Ferry, so nobody's there in the middle of the day. There's always people left in the Anacortes Ferry.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And I'm not going to pay the state to shut down a ferry and record a short film. But yeah, it was a very long apocalypse. It was like the least violent apocalypse dream I've ever had.
I wonder why
saying that everybody died.
Many apocalypse dreams.
I like the apocalypse. Flat out. I can then lead that into my next one, actually. This one I think you'll find the most fascinating. I entered into my dream, and it's like I flew into my brain and was viewing it inside out style.
Cool.
So, I was floating in this, like, void-like area, and I could see the islands that made up my personality.
Yeah.
One of the islands was called Apocalypse Island.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it was.
And it was like there were various different apocalypses happening in this little bubble thing. I could not get in, but I could view what was happening. There was always me's that were directing things, if it was like the zombies, or if it was disease, or whatever. And there was a lot of Joanne fabrics. Which, have we talked about that? Yes, we did. We talked about the apocalypse. Yeah. So there was a lot of Joanne fabrics, but there was just a bunch of, like, different scenarios playing out. And it was interesting to see the dynamic. You and Dan were literally always there with me, kind of a thing. So it was interesting to see that. But it was funny that was what my brain considered part of my personality. The second island was dark, like it had like a dome over it, like Apocalypse Island, but inside was just this black swirling mist. And when I got near it, I felt very, like, scared, anxious, trepidatious, and all that kind of stuff. And it almost had, like, these black tendrils that were clinging to the land that made up me. I have, like, bullet points for this one, which is why I'm describing it the way I am. But I remember the dream very vividly. I don't even really need this. the tendrils were reaching out, and there were like little workers that were like chipping away at the tendrils, and there were like knights, because my brain likes that, that were fighting any ones that came in, and like it inside, like I was looking into this darkness, and I just remember seeing like things that like for me are like people from my past that haven't been nice to me, or like that kind of stuff would show up, and like it just felt like dark and depressing, and I feel like it was my own brain manifestation of my anxiety and depression, and it was like my brain is actively working to try to get rid of that, go away, and I had set up these defenses myself, kind of a thing, and I was like, okay, the next island was Friendship Island, but it was everybody as I would ideally like them to live their lives out. So like you and Dan had a house that like you guys were living in, and it was like what I would think would be your ideal house. We haven't ever talked about that, but like you had an art studio up in the corner, and you were like throwing like water balloons full of paint at the wall, just having a grand old time,
Princess Diary style.
Yeah,
let's go.
And I just like saw you like wipe your hand across your head, just like have paint follow. Dan was in his own little like mother-in-law suite that he had just decked out to be a gaming room, and he was having fun. You had kids, even though I know it's like a maybe not, you don't know yet. But like your kids were adorable. They were like little mixes of you and Dan, and they were just sweet little angels, but also like mischievous as shit.
There's also that part.
And like I could see all my other friends, like Danica was there, but like her area was like under construction in a way, because like while I consider Danica a friend, like I feel like she's almost like building her spot up in me in a way of being a very good friend. I had other friends that I'm just not gonna name on there, that were just like in their own little places around, but like nobody could see me because again there was like the dome thing, and I couldn't enter it because it was my own brain. So, but like I was just like watching everyone else. I felt really happy just watching everybody succeed and like what I would wish for them in the world, basically. But the funniest thing about it was, as I was like getting ready to go to the next island, you just look up and was like, "Oh my god!" Like I had a lot of feelings. So then the next island over, I will call Fandom Island, and it was like all the things that like I love dearly, and like that was there. So like there was Jack and Rose and the Doctor, because those are my OT3 instead of one episode where this on. But like he kept switching back and forth between 9 and 10 because those are my two favorites, and like he again was like one of the only few people that he would just see me and be like wink and like go back to what he was doing. Like he was aware that I was there. Harry, Hermione, and Ron, and like everybody was there like doing their thing, and like they were acting out different things, because like I read a lot of fan fiction in high school. I still read some fan fiction because fan fiction is great.
Some really good fan
expand on the story and all that kind of stuff. So like they were playing it out over and over again, doing different things, and it was interesting to watch. Like I had other things that there was a tiny little supernatural wing because my sister just talks about it a lot. But like it was just like a bunch of things that I enjoy that was there. Like our camera is sitting on top of some books to elevate it because those books, the Alana series, like that was there too, because there was George, and like it was nice. It felt like safe, and it felt like nice, and I was like, oh yay,
worlds that you've gone to for comfort.
In a way. And like it was nice that I had like the two like darker ones, the two nice ones, and there was a fifth island. And like this is gonna sound like the cheesiest thing in the world, because the fifth island had like one of those like big like canvas tents over them with a giant sign that said under construction. And I could like hear the construction and all that kind of stuff. You couldn't really make out a shape. But when I got near it,
brain is really blunt.
Yeah. When I got near it, it really felt like hope. And that's it. And then I woke up, and I was like, after I woke up, and I still felt that hope sensation in my chest. I literally said out loud, I was like, gay. So, and it's just like, that was the one that got me the most recently, because I was like, it's such like, with the fighting the depression and like the new island that I don't even know what it is, I was like,
20 minutes.
I'll leave myself a note. Anyway, it had a very like our building kind of shape in it. well, my building out of all the buildings that we have,
Mhm.
but it had that kind of a shape, and I don't, but it didn't really.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's gonna be a part of that, like that's developing into my personality, because like I could totally see that because my job means a lot to me, but I don't know if it's enough to make my personality, but be like a section of it, because like all the different islands had like sections to them.
I think that would be indicative of our work having something to do
Mhm.
with this, whether that be like it's all centered around that, or like this is just where it began,
Mhm.
or this is just like something that your brain kind of correlates with that feeling of hope.
Mhm.
Um,
I have a future, I guess maybe.
yeah, and like
I spent most of the camera doing this.
yeah.
Here's my side profile. That's a jacket.
That's a really good dream.
It was a good dream. That was a very happy dream.
I was about to cry when you were like, "Oh, and you like looked up really." Oh.
No, it was really sweet because like it was like
Yeah.
I like nobody even acknowledged that I was there, and it was literally one of those things of you like I finished what I was doing. Hi.
Wait.
It's 20 minutes in. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'll find
20
that.
minutes.
I'll leave myself a note. Anyway, it had a very like our building kind of shape in it.
Mhm.
Well, my building out of all the buildings that we have,
Mhm.
but it had that kind of a shape, and I don't, but it didn't really.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's gonna be a part of that, like that's developing into my personality, because like I could totally see that because my job means a lot to me, but I don't know if it's enough to make my personality, but be like a section of it, because like all the different islands had like sections to them.
I think that would be indicative of our work having something to do
Mhm.
with this, whether that be like it's all centered around that, or like this is just where it began,
Mhm.
or this is just like something that your brain kind of correlates with that feeling of hope.
Mhm.
I
have a future, I guess maybe.
Yeah, and like
I spent most of the camera doing this.
yeah.
Here's my side profile. That's a jacket.
That's a really good dream.
It was a good dream. That was a very happy dream.
I was about to cry when you were like, "Oh, and you like looked up really." Oh.
No, it was really sweet because like it was like I like nobody even acknowledged that I was there, and it was literally one of those things of you like I finished what I was doing. Hi. And it like I just was like in my dream, but it was just, like my brain was like, but after like thinking about it now, even now thinking about it, I'm like, why does my brain still want to think of things in like Disney Pixar kind of stuff?
Because the Disney Pixar stuff is super inspirational.
I mean, yeah.
Like really, like I love Inside Out.
Did you see the trailers for Soul?
No.
It's kind of like an Inside Out Part 2, but it's about like the soul.
That would be controversial.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It'll be interesting. I want to see it though because it looks cool.
Yeah.
I trust Pixar more so than Disney, even though they're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
But like I trust them more not to like.
To be a bit more sensitive
Yeah.
and really look into things.
Well, it was just like, well, this is a soul non sequitur from dreams, but people were talking about with Riley, in the mom and the dad, they had male and sorry, Siri's talking to me. They had the male and the female, but in Riley's head they have a mix of both. So what does that mean for Riley?
Yeah, that's something that I noticed too, and I don't know,
because
I feel like it's just something that they didn't really think about because the moms and the dads' heads.
But Pixar thinks about everything they do.
That's true.
Everything they do, it's all connected.
I
in some
wonder
way.
if it's more connected to a sense of self.
Maybe no, like discovering yourself. But then I was thinking about that, looking at it, like
because when you're a kid, anything is possible. But then as you become an adult, like all of your emotions get like the same haircut.
Oh no, I totally get it. But if you look at them, you have joy, who's very feminine. You have disgust, who's very feminine. You have sadness, who's kind of androgynous, really.
Yeah, can be. I would like to think of sadness as androgynous, but I mean, like.
Well, I mean, there's no overt, like, besides, like, the hair being somewhat longer and a more feminine tone, there's really no overt, like, this is a feminine person. Like, with the shape kind of a thing. And
yeah, that's true. No, I see what you're saying now.
And
yeah.
then you have fear,
Mhm.
which was male,
Mhm.
and then anger, who was very male.
Mhm.
So like you have like the spectrum of like very feminine to very masculine to the middle.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's so interesting if it is like the whole like you don't know what you're gonna be when you grow up kind of a thing. So yeah, I was just
really
like, I was like,
it.
that's the concept. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, blah, blah, yeah. Yeah.
Stop getting
Stop, Siri. I don't. Stop it. Alright. I'll do a short one. Hold on. Oh, here's a very short one. Cat died. I woke up crying. I don't remember how you died. You just died. I literally woke up sobbing.
Oh no!
Headphone hat. I'm okay. I'm okay. Minion fall down. No, I have dreams sometimes where you die and I don't like them, so I wake up and I'm sad.
Yeah, I would be sad too.
I didn't write this one down, but I did have a dream about your wedding because that's on my brain.
Yeah.
So, but it's just it's never the actual ceremony. It's always the reception, and there's always like something weird that happens.
I mean, that's where the party happens, is the reception.
Yeah.
So.
But like I was also listening to people on YouTube as I fell asleep and I left it on. So like I think it was more of that because like a head crab launcher fell into your wedding. And everybody was running from the head crabs. So yeah, I was watching TTT. If you can't tell.
Yeah.
That's Trouble in Terrorist Town for those of you who don't know, which is a game. You're playing Gary's Mod, which is another game. But yeah, so like there we go. I want to redo this one because I am interested in your opinion on it because it's more of a story. Because in this, I wasn't me. Okay. So
interesting.
I awoke basically in this world, and I knew who I was. I don't remember their actual name, but I was a healer for this small town in this like medieval like village-esque. There were knights, kings, queens, all that kind of stuff, but people possessed magic. There were 6 types of magic: fire, air, water, earth, healing, and shadow.
Cool.
Yeah. So everybody usually had, if they had one, they had like one kind of power. The really powerful people would have multiple. The king, the royal family of this country, were known to be the royal line, were very powerful fire mages. I'm again just looking at notes. I actually, this is one I've had. No, this is one I had recently, so I'm just gonna say it because this has been stuck in my brain since a while ago because I thought it was so interesting, and I wish I would dream it again. This is one of those dreams that I had that felt like they went on 4 months, and I woke up and was like, what's real? Okay, so I woke up and I knew these things about me, right? I had purple eyes, which I know the main character of those books has purple eyes, so that's what sticks in my brain for main characters a lot. So I was a healer in this village. That was my power. And the royal family are powerful fire mages, but over the years, having married other people, they have also gained other abilities. Usually, each prince that is born and any other royal people have 2 to about 5 of the powers. 5 being the ones that tend to be more warmongering, and those were usually years we were bathed in war. The current prince, who was about to become of age, which was 21 instead of 18, he had fire, air, and shadow. That's all the thing was. And he got air from his mother, who was an air person. And he has been the only one so far to master air to the point of being the same master, because usually you master one and the other ones are subsidiary. He mastered both fire and air, and he can control lightning because of both of them together.
That makes sense.
Which is very Avatar: Last Airbender, yeah. Like I recognize that in my brain.
Yes.
But he was the only lightning person who could use lightning, and he was considered very powerful. But his father was very peaceful, and so was he. Sorry. So, there was the country was founded on called the Rainbow Prophecy, and I don't know why I knew this background information, but it is, okay? So, the Rainbow Prophecy is that the royal family, whenever they are come of age, they have to sing the Rainbow Chant. So the priestesses and priests of the rainbow prophecy, basically, would go around to each town, major town in their country, and chant this song, and they would get a woman for each of one of the 6 powers. So you'd have Lady Red, who was fire. You would have Lady Orange, who was wind. You would have Lady Yellow, who was healing. You'd have Lady Green, who was earth. You'd have Lady Blue, who was water. And you would have Lady Purple, who was shadow, right? They would be given temporary noble status while they were part of this, like, bachelorette-esque bachelor competition thing for winning the prince's hand, because the people that were chosen were not always noble. The noble families tend to be more so, because usually once the women would go to the castle, if they weren't chosen by the prince, usually other noble families would snatch them up because they were considered the most powerful of their power, basically. So marrying into any family is a benefit. It didn't matter if they were a commoner anymore, they're now this. And they are that person until the next person is born, or they marry into whatever family. So they could choose to not do that and be the next Lady Purple and be a noble until the new competition survives, goes around, basically. But usually by that point in time, they've married off or whatever, right? And that's how the noble families were created within the country, or whatever. But at this point in time, there was enough that they usually got married off, because why would you not want to go from a commoner to a noble? There's no downside to that. Like, this is not evil anything, right? Well, the town that I was, the village that I was a healer with was on the conjoint of a main town. So when the prince was about to turn 21, every single woman got orders that they needed to go attend the thing.
Which also, like, this sounds amazing, but also very heteronormative.
Yes, very heteronormative.
Not having a very good time with that, but everything else is great.
Yeah, well.
Hollywood, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Like, the thing is you gotta continue the royal line. There's gotta be the vagina involved at some point in time, right?
With that technology that they had at that time, yes.
Yeah.
With the technology that we have now, we don't even need men.
There was okay, I'm gonna derail myself here. There was the best, I think it was a TikTok that I saw recently, that was like, this one was like, I'm bisexual. That means I like men in theory. And I was like,
I love it.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, so everyone's ordered to go to this town. I did not want to go. Flat out did not want to go because of that town. I was considered probably the best healer in the general area, so people assumed that I would become Lady Yellow, but because we were the closest to the capital, we were the last one to be visited before they went. So as they're going in their giant loop back to the capital, basically, the Lady Yellow was already chosen. Somebody's like, oh wow, there's a more powerful healer than her? Wow. Like, so I was like, okay, I didn't even want to be a part of it, so like, golden, right? I know things about myself, but it's to go with the story. I'm gonna not tell you right now. So they go through the whole loop, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to go to the main town because, which I think was called like Briarville, because the noble family there is also fire mages, and their daughter, who was most likely going to be Lady Red because she wasn't chosen up to this point. Basically, Lady Purple and Lady Red were the only ones not chosen yet. So I was like, ugh, she's gonna get Lady Red. She's so obnoxious. I don't want to have to deal with her. I don't have to see her because, like, we knew each other for some reason because, like, her father was very sick for a while, and I was the only one that was able to heal him, and she was, like, pissed about that for some reason because I'm a commoner. How dare I, right? So she's a very uppity, like, Draco Malfoy early Harry Potter, right? My father would hear about this kind of attitude. So, or, like, I'm the best, whatever. So I was like, ugh, I do not want to go see this lady. Do not want to see her. At all. So I go and I'm like there, I'm in the crowd, I'm like and I'm just like not excited to be there, and all these other girls are like fawning, being like, oh, I might be Lady Purple, blah blah blah, like, because nobody's ever like, oh, it's gonna be this lady, she's gonna be Lady Red, and they're like, ooh, like twittering about, and I'm just like, I have patience that I could be taking care of. Because the thing was, is like, I was a healer. I was a master healer, which meant I went to school for everything, and there are levels that you can reach, and I have reached the highest one, and one of the youngest to reach the highest one, which is why everybody was like, why are you not Lady Yellow? Who is this other person? And she was some other noble woman kind of a thing, who they just have healers pop up every once in a while, and they usually are chosen to be Lady Yellow. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I don't care. I'd rather not be married to the prince. So,
I'd rather be just out here in the field helping people.
Yeah, so. Like, I want to help people. That's my job. I don't want to be queen. Like, So I go to the thing, and, like, part of the rainbow chant is all the women that have been chosen are standing up on the stage, and they start singing the red part and go through for the rainbow, right? So everybody else has already been chosen, and when you get chosen, you kind of glow your color. So they start singing the red part, and of course the lady glows red, and I'm like, ooh, can I go home now? Like, whatever. So they do that, she glows, and she, like, smugly walks up on stage and, like, sits down with everybody else and is like, and of course, so she has red hair as well, so, like, it's like the whole, it's a trope. It's the tropes. Like, all of them have hair color that's close to their color, kind of a thing. Like, obviously they can't have, like, purple or blue hair, but, like, it's a dark blue, it's dark red, not dark red, dark black that looks blue, kind of a thing. Yeah. The green is, like, a really, like, greeny-ish blonde kind of a thing, and then orange hair for the orange lady and blonde hair for the other one. I had white hair, like bright silverish white hair, and so I'm like, because, like, Lady Purple is always, like, a black-haired person, basically. Well, they go through the whole thing, everybody's glowing, it's all happy, and they start singing the purple part, and, like, nothing happens. Nobody's glowing. So, like, I can see the priests and priestesses, like, starting to freak out, thinking maybe they missed somebody, or somebody's being held captive. And then I look up at them, and I realize the reason they're freaking out is they're all looking at me, and I look down at myself, and I'm glowing purple. And I'm like, oh! I was like, I, can I opt out? I don't volunteer. Like, people were, like, watching me, and, like, they moved out of the way for me to have a way to the stage, and I was just like, because, like, I didn't want to go. I was like, I do not want to be a part of this, and I was like, and the song ended before I went up on the stage, because I was just, like, stood there in shock, and then, like, everybody's just staring at me, the priestesses and priestesses are all staring at me, all of the other people are staring at me, Lady Red is death glaring at me, and then stands up and is like, she can't be Lady Purple, she doesn't fit the blah 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 blah. And the head priest is like, how dare you blaspheme, the song does not lie, get up here. And I was like,
the song does not lie.
I don't want to. He's like, you don't have a choice, guards. So I get brought up there by guard thing, and then they have the second part of the ceremony that everybody's there, where we get introduced to our Knight Protector, and I'm like, I don't want it. And it's basically these knights that are given the honor of being our, like, protector and, like, escort kind of a thing, to make sure nothing untoward happens to us, or we don't do anything weird, right? Yeah. So they get assigned as, like, Knight Red, Knight Orange, all that kind of stuff, and I meet Knight Purple, and he's like, he comes up and he's like this, like, tall, like, Viking-esque looking dude, and he just looks at me and he goes, you're gonna make my job difficult, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. I don't want to be here. And he was like, this is, like, a big honor. Like, I was like, I have patience. I was gonna go back tonight. Like, no. And he's like, Bob, you gotta do the thing. And I was like, do you have, like, a squire or something? Can you at least send it back to, like, my assistant to, like, take care of things? He's like, yeah, I can do that. So the squire goes to go tell the people, and I was like, so we get loaded into these carts, and, like, there's this, like, whole grand procession of, like, each cart has its own color. Like, it's this whole thing that's developed over the millennia that we've been around, or whatever. And here's the kick. Any Lady Purple that has ever been chosen as a wife bears the sun and then dies. Yep. And I was like, I do not want to be chosen. I do not want to die after having a child. Like, I'm good. No, I'm good. And they usually are the ones getting chosen by the power-mongering people, because Shadow is such an unknown, like, kind of magic. And so the night guy is sitting in the back with me, and he was like, oh, so what do you said you're a healer. How do you heal with Shadow? And I was like, I don't have shadow magic. He's like, what? I was like, I'm a healer. I'm a master healer. I don't have shadow magic. He's like, then I was like, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. And so I go, and we go to the thing. We get pushed to these, like, people that dress us up all fancy like and whatever. Now I'm in this, like, purple, violet. It's like gorgeous, but I'm in this bonnet and I'm very uncomfortable. And I'm like, I am used to healer robes, which are very flowy because you need to be able to move quickly, and they're also like tight here because you need to not get things everywhere, but like comfortable because I gotta be in them for hours, like stain resistant. I'm like, I'm a cupcake. Like, I hate everything about this. And like,
I am a cupcake.
the knight's dad comes in. He goes, "Hey, I am Duke, whatever his name was. I don't remember their names." He's like, "I have used my family's always represented the Lady Purple." He's like, "It's an honor to meet you." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "I don't want to be here." And he's like, "I've heard. Here's the thing." He goes, "It's a 6-month-long competition because it is. Because each month, each one has to put on a ball or like a party or some kind of event. And I'm the last one." And I was like, "Why couldn't I have been like orange or yellow? I could go quickly and then be like, bye. But I have to wait till the end." It's like, oh. And each person is assigned a day to spend with the prince, right? Well, the weekend is usually reserved for purple because they're usually very busy on the weekend. So he usually divides his time throughout the weekend, so I get 2 days technically to get to know him, right? Of course, he has a choice about what he wants to do for each of the days, so if he doesn't have time to meet with somebody, like he can always meet them next week or whatever kind of thing, right? But you have those days, they're your assigned ones. Purple is the most busy, basically, because it's the weekend. Lady Red's pissed because I'm purple, which means I get the weekend, and she thinks I'm gonna like spend all the time with her, not gonna get married, and I'm like, no. So we go to this opening ball, right? Basically, I'm escorted by the knight dude, and I'm like, can we figure out time travel so this can get over quicker? I was like, can I just be like a raving bitch and like get kicked out? Like, is that a possibility? He's like, nope. It's like, doesn't matter how evil you are, you're gonna stay to the end. Underguard, which is me. Hello. And I was like, great, cool, awesome. People are gonna die, but alright. So we go through this whole thing.
But apparently this whole matchmaker thing is way more important.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Here's the kicker. I secretly worked for the King of Thieves of the continent thing, right? So they're not particularly happy with the fact that I was gone. Not my fault, obviously. We have to go to a town, we have to do blah, 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 right? So I'm thinking about the consequences of this because now the thieves don't have a healer. And I'm like, oh my god, some people are gonna die. I'm so upset. Like, because I love the King of Thieves because I grew up in an orphanage. I met him when we were children. Like, so I never knew my parents, whatever kind of a thing. So we kind of were raised together. He was a street kid and whatever. So he kind of taught me everything and that kind of stuff. So I had a lot of thievery skills. I was like, I can get out. And so, but the other thing is he liked being the King of Thieves. So he liked to hold court. So he would make us practice manners. So when we go to the ball, I was the only commoner. Everybody else was a noble. And everybody's like, oh, we're going to watch her dance, Lady Purple. And I was more elegant than everybody else. And the knight was like, what's happening? And I was like, oh, I must be natural. Like, because I'm not going to rat them out, right? So I know all of the court manners, everything like that, because the King of Thieves made us. And it was hilarious to run court, right? And I held the position that the royal healer did, basically, in the same court system. So I was pretty high up. We go through this whole shebang. We meet the prince. I mean, he's a nice guy, and like he was very attractive. But I was just like, so he dances with each one of us, right? And I'm the very last.
Marry the King of Thieves.
Yeah,
that's been the plan.
And I go through the whole shebang. He dances with me last because I'm Lady Purple, and while I'm doing it, Lady Red's just like, I'm dancing with him, and he's like, I have never had a more reluctant partner with dancing. I was like, because I don't want to be here. And he was like, what? And I was like, I don't have shadow magic. And I said it loud enough as the violins died. And the king just goes, what? And I was like, I don't have shadow magic. I was like, I'm a master healer. I don't understand why I'm Lady Purple. And he was like, called me a fraud and whatever, that kind of stuff. He's like, you tricked the system, whatever. I was like, I don't even want to be here. Like, and so we were brought forward and all that kind of stuff. And then there's apparently this thing that they can do to test that they used to do, like, before to make sure people weren't, like, cheesing the system. But then they're like, oh, the system's infallible, whatever. So the priests come out and they surround you and they chant in a circle to bring out basically the ultimate thing of the magic, which is usually some form of animal, like Red, it was a phoenix. The other ones I don't really remember because I was blanking it out. And I'm sitting there and I'm just going crap, because I knew I have shadow magic. I just don't use it. Because that's the thing is, commoners, if they're ever chosen, they are only masters in that one thing.
Yeah.
Other commoners as well have very rarely have like powerful magics. They'll have like little things here or there that they'll pass down through the families, but they never get big. I could use all magics.
That's why your hair was white.
Yes. Not to the master level, but I could use shadow, healing, fire, and earth. Completely masterful. The other two, adequate. Like, I could fight somebody as a master, would lose if I just used those two, like those ones, but I have the other 4. And I'm like, because the thing is like, when they ask me, once they figure it out, because the thing is because I have 4 masteries, what's gonna happen? So they do the little chant thing, and I can feel the shadow wolf being like torn out of me, basically. And I just feel it pulling the rest with them. So I have these 4 symbols above me, and then minor symbols pop up for the other 2. And I was like, oh. So everybody in this ball, which is packed with all of the nobles.
They just did it right then and there in the ball?
Yeah. And all of the important people in the country just see this rainbow over me, right? Exactly. And the priests all stop the chant, and they stay. And then the people that are hovering above me, as I'm feeling very dizzy, because they literally just pulled my magic out of me, go, the prophecy has come, and then come back into me, and I faint. And I woke up. Yep.
Oh. I want to know how the movie ends. Like, I want to know what happens next.
I know.
Excuse me. I know you're busy writing and everything.
Here's the thing, because I've been
I want more.
The thing is, because I've been thinking about it, it's definitely not going to happen again. Because it's all subconscious and that kind of stuff.
But it was so fun!
It's gonna be like, the thing is when I have these dreams where they stop on like a stop point like that, I usually continue the story. It just may take multiple years.
Well, let me know.
Oh yeah, I know. Once I forget about it, it might pop up again. Who knows?
Cool.
But I'll let you know if there's more. We'll do another podcast about it.
I love that your brain just like makes movies for you.
Yeah, it makes stories and entertains me while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Or at least in the last like 15 minutes before I wake up. Basically.
And everything is like
detailed.
Yeah, and cohesive. Like it's all connected. Like there isn't just like and then this thing happened, which was like whatever, and then I don't know what exactly was going on. Like it's like, and then this thing happened, and this thing happened because this thing was a thing, and
yeah, and there's even more like conversation, little details, but like where are we? We're at 47 minutes. Okay. So like I just like I wasn't gonna go into that level of detail, but it was very detailed. Like I could describe everything. I could be Stephanie Meyer talking about how I took a shower or whatever. But I was so upset when I woke up because like I woke up at like 2 or something like that too, and I was like no, go back. But I didn't dream again. Yeah. But it was so interesting to me just because like my person, who definitely was not me, was just so annoyed with the whole process. She's like, I got things to do. I can't be doing this queen whatever thing and that kind of stuff.
Like, I'm involved in things that are way more important and big than this.
Yeah. The thing is like, I had some background, like, in my head as the character, because once I was chosen as purple, and this is what I didn't want to reveal while I was telling the story, because it's like, I knew I had the powers that I had. I didn't know who my parents were. That kind of stuff. Nobody knew. I just appeared one day outside the orphanage as a baby.
Wow. That's because you traveled through multiple different planes.
Here's the thing, though. So the reason why every Lady Purple has died after giving birth to a son is the prophecy, the rainbow prophecy, which is what everything is founded upon, was never supposed to be like this is how the royal family finds wives, right? It was supposed to be, this is how we'll bring about an era of peace. Yeah. So this is how we'll find peace throughout the land, basically. You have to find the right person. By singing the rainbow song. Because what's supposed to happen was it was supposed to be that one person was supposed to glow all of the colors. that's the prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be the rainbow person, basically, who's the most powerful, who will bring peace to the land. But it was the task of the royal family, basically. But that had been kind of lost throughout the millennia of what the really important thing was, because it basically, if you were level of mastery, like above everybody else, you would glow. But they needed somebody to glow all of the things. Who is there?
Dad.
Oh, hi, Dad. What did he throw at me?
Threw a note of some kind.
Did he tweet at me?
Michelle Wilson.
Oh, I got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. This might be copyright.
Oh, you're right.
But so that I knew the prophecy basically because that's just like background land thing, and my brain was like, here's some information. So the reason why every Lady Purple had died was Lady Purple usually was masterful in shadow magic and masterful in something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or close to something else, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So every time Lady Purple wasn't chosen, she would also die. But that was never recorded because they usually never stayed to be part of the noble thing, whatever, right? Or if they did, they would have a son and die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was it. But it was never reported unless they were like the queen, whatever kind of thing. It wasn't as important, basically.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is the prince is supposed to marry Lady Purple, who is the rainbow person, basically, because it's reincarnation. Every Lady Purple who is born is the same Lady Purple. It's always the same person. You're just gaining more powers as you go.
Yeah.
So it was like I had to go through this millennia of building power to be the end of the prophecy and bring about the thing. But it depended on how well they were treated, basically.
Yeah.
But because Shadow is considered bad or whatever, or can do bad things, because like I said, the kings that took the purple wives were usually warmongering, would use them to defeat enemies, because it was great, powerful magic. It was considered the most powerful of all of them. So people feared Lady Purple more so than anything, so they're never really sad when she died. So, like, I knew this as my person. I knew I had all these past lives, which is why I tried to hide as a healer, because I had to, but I could not go to the thing. I physically could not because I was part of a prophecy. So I'm trying to complete my own prophecy, basically.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to be chosen. Like, but I was so done with it at that point in time that I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. Flat out. Yeah. I have other things to do. I have other powers. Like, I don't have time for this. I don't care about the prophecy anymore. So I think that's kind of where it was trying to go. Was trying to be like, you don't care anymore. Everybody can go F themselves, basically. So that was what I felt that person was going for, and I knew I had all those past lives. Like, I could remember everything. And that's why I liked hanging out with the King of Thieves, and also why I was good at the court stuff, because I've been there. Done it already. Thousands of times.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I was trying to convince everybody I didn't have shadow magic, hoping they would make me go home. I wasn't expecting the thingy.
Look at how much of a bitch I be.
I had thought they'd forgotten it.
Yeah.
They hadn't. But, yeah.
Oh my god.
Technically, I wasn't ready yet, because I wasn't masterful in all the things. But, yeah. So.
I mean, like, you would have gotten there. Or you're the second to last reincarnation.
Or a bit more. But the thing is that reveal wasn't supposed to happen yet.
Yeah.
That's why I felt such a trepidation.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not supposed to happen yet. I don't want it to. I'm going to die. Like, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I fainted. And I woke up. But yeah. So I knew who I was. I knew I was going to be chosen. I didn't want to be chosen. I was hoping I could convince everybody else that I wouldn't be. So.
Yeah. I want that to be a movie, and I want it to happen, and I want you to play the main character.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to be queen. I don't want to deal with that. I'm very much on board with that person. So heteronormative. Maybe I'll write out the story for you. Maybe I'll make it up for you and read it for you, or just send it to you.
Make it a book and delete this episode off of YouTube.
Nah. I'm not good at writing dialogue. I'm like, he said, she said, they said. Like, I
can be your ghostwriter. I'm great with shit like that.
Maybe. We'll see. That's another project for another time. Alright, you said you had a dream for me.
Yes. So, it's nothing even remotely close to interesting.
I find everything
Welcome to a wild ride. Yeah, I was just, like, looking in the mirror, and I was just like, I don't want to brush my hair. so long. I don't want to fucking brush it. Maybe I could just cut it all off. And then
I got it stuck in your hair.
which is like, I don't want to fucking brush it. And
I understand. She brushed it before this podcast. It took a while.
Anyway. But yeah, I was just kind of like, maybe just cut it all off. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want my hair to be all nice and long for the wedding. And then like impulse just took over, and I was like, yeah.
Brittany.
And just like random like place. I can't remember if I buzzed it or if I just like took some scissors and oh no, it was the scissors, and I just like
and just like Brittany 2007
cut some random parts. Yeah, just random, and it was in a ponytail. It was like this, like in a low bun, and I just remember like doing that and like it's super impulsively, and then just kind of being like, oh my god, what did I just do? Oh no, like I took my ponytail out, and like at first I was just kind of like, okay, wait, or no, I didn't take the ponytail out, and I was like, wait, I don't think I actually got anything with the scissors, because I just like randomly like
snipping.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, you know, I don't think I actually cut any of my hair. I think it's okay. And like some part of my brain started being like, oh yeah, this is a dream. Like you can like try to cut your hair, but not actually cut any of your hair. And then I pulled the bun out, and it was just like some of my hair was here, and then I felt some pieces of the hair just go.
Oh no!
And then I was just kind of like.
Holding hair.
Oh no, what have I done? I like look at myself in the mirror. My hair looks the same, except it's just thinner. Yeah. And it just flatter and like
it's like your brain literally can't fathom what you would look like without hair.
Nope. Nah. It's just it looks the same, just thinner. And that was my dream.
You love your hair. As much as it annoys you, you love your hair. I think that was your version of the teeth.
Yeah.
Although I like when you were like, it looks back and you're just like, oh, it's just thinner.
Yeah, and I'm like,
okay.
Like okay, but also like, oh man, I really struggle trying to make sure I have the volume on the top. No.
That's great.
How much time do we have left?
We should wrap up.
Okay, because I've also had other dreams that I've written down.
Do you have a short one?
Let me see. Pull up my notes.
Did you start when I told you, or did you just write them down? You just wrote them down.
Blah. I had a dream I was helping out with a wedding super last minute. I'm pretty sure it was some kind of bowl and skate deck location, and then I don't recall ever having seen. I was hanging out with a friend from work.
That was very pitiful, little one.
Oh, goodness. I was hanging out with Adam from work, and just laughing and having a good time. I think eating chocolate cake, maybe a la mode, and spilling. I spilled some on my dress. And I was making some comment about how frustrated I was that I kept spilling stuff while I was eating, and this was the third time that this has happened today. And then an old coworker of mine came over and asked for my help with the kitchen stuff and I used to be a barista where we worked at a cafe, so we'd make some food stuff too. So this is
like she found she was allergic to onions.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Quick side note: she just kept coming home, not to me, being like, "My hands hurt. I don't know why."
Also, they're covered in itchy bumps.
Yeah. And then she was cutting onions one day and was like, "Oh."
Well, it was from washing dishes that had onions on them. Yeah. So, but yeah. Then he came over and asked for my help with kitchen stuff because we had one other chick to help out, and he didn't know how we were going to pull this off. I just kind of ran around getting an idea of all the roles that needed to be filled in order to make this happen. Dan's mom was at the table and said, "I'll be having the pot roast, just a reminder." Which then provoked a bunch of people at her long table to remind me what they were having. I turned on my customer service voice and told them, we'll be coming around to take orders shortly. She seemed conflicted between being an absolute horror to me because I'm acting as a waitress and holding back because I'm her soon-to-be daughter-in-law. So, I'm power walking into the kitchen trying to figure out in my head who can do what and how we can work together.
Wait. Didn't you work at like a vegan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, not everything there was vegan,
Oh, okay.
but I mean, there was some. That's the vibe that they were going with, but they also had stuff with like eggs in it.
I was just like roast beef. Salami. It's not vegan.
No, I mean, like, also this like that kitchen was not catering this wedding.
Okay.
Like, this was just like somebody was getting married, and my old coworker was there, and he was like, "What do you mean you don't have a caterer?" So then we were trying to figure out how we can get all this food together. Who's gonna make it? Who's gonna get orders out? Who's
sorry,
gonna,
I thought for some reason it was the cafe.
No, yeah, we were at a bowl and skate. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got confused with
and then
onions.
like it slowly transferred to like being outside under a tent or something, like a wedding tent thing. Mm-hmm.
I thought you meant a regular tent.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
What do you want? Let's see. When I get to the kitchen, my old coworker is holding out a pot roast dish and a salmon dish, beautifully cooked. I just looked at him incredulously, gave a short sigh of relief, and praised and complimented him for taking on the role of chef and doing it well. I then told him to hold on a minute as I was going to go around and take orders. I remember going through a bunch of stuff looking for notepads, and Dan's mom actually got me for Christmas. His mom got me these like cute little like check note things and a little cute little notepad thing. So in my dream, I was looking for those.
You're like, where's the thing?
I'm like, I need to write notes down. Let's see. Yeah, I was looking for stuff. But settled on some of her own notepads. Yeah, apparently I used Dan's mom's notepads.
Thanks, Dan's mom.
And thinking how she might notice them. And be like, those like notepads? What is this? Yeah, before I woke up, I was trying to run through my head what the menu was. I remember there was salmon, pot roast, and one more main dish. Yeah, and then I asked myself if there were appetizers and desserts before just deciding on a main course and dessert for everybody. So I've been thinking about wedding planning a lot.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It'll go fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it'll be fine, but you know, my brain is not convinced.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
We got you. Anyway, those have been my weird dreams, and then Kat's panic about weddings. So, yeah.
And hair.
Yes.
Which is also related to the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't realize how much this was getting to me.
I mean, it's stressful, so.
Yeah.
It's a stressful period.
Fun fact, wedding planning is stressful.
Yeah, and it's because, unfortunately, again, heteronormative thing, but because you're the woman, it's, like, more on you to make sure everything is going great.
I mean, like, for us...
Society-wise.
Yeah.
Not for, like, actual Dan's expectation.
Yeah.
So.
Like, Dan's actually, like, pretty invested.
Yeah. Well, it's his wedding, too.
Yeah. He's not as invested as I am. Like, he's still really, like, wanting to participate. He's, like, giving his opinion. He's being amazing.
But you've always wanted, like, the wedding.
Yeah,
so.
like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that, but I really
we talked about compromises, so.
Yeah, dude, I hate, there's so many wedding websites and videos that I'm going to that are just, like, specifically tailoring their website to be to women.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look, I know that this is the expectation and, like, the stereotype, but stop.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough for this week.
Anyway,
thanks for listening
sweet
to our
dreams.
Yeah, you'll probably hear more about the wedding until it's over, which, yeah. Yep. We're not going to do a podcast at the wedding. No. Spoilers. Hi, and welcome to Kat and Dan's wedding. Everybody say hello. No. That will probably be a bye week, which you won't know is happening until it is, because, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, we'll probably announce it the week after. Yes. Or we might just record one in advance and then just go with it. So
you might
then
never know.
We'll know. She'll just be married one day. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.